You never really know when a passion starts. Sometimes it's not a big moment, sometimes it's just a sound. I must have been about 8 or 9 years old, running around the neighborhood with the Stevie Wonder record in my hands like it was gold. I didn't want to hear anything else, just Stevie. The melodies, the soul, it spoke to me in a way nothing else could. That's when something inside me woke up, something I couldn't explain yet. My dad played guitar at the church. I remember sitting there watching him play, wishing I could do what he did. I tried the guitar, then the flute, then the piano. And when I didn't have instruments, I made beats with pots and pans in the kitchen. I just wanted to create. Music was everywhere in my house. My mom loved Aretha Franklin, Luther Vandross. Her records filled the air every weekend. My sister, she introduced me to DJ Quick. That was the first time I heard cuss words in a rap, and it blew my mind. It was real, it was raw, it was life. But the moment that changed everything, I was at my grandmother's house, sitting in the living room by myself. LL Cool J's I'm Bad came on the radio. The beat dropped. And I remember jumping around shouting, I could crush you like a jelly bean. I'm bad. That was it. That was the moment I knew. I didn't just love music, I was music. Every sound from those days, Stevie Wonder, church guitars, my mom's soul records, my sister's rap tape, they all became echoes inside me. And those echoes are still there today, guiding every lyric, every rhythm, every dream I chase. This is where it all began, the echoes of my early days. As I grew up, life started to shift. Music was still there, but basketball, yep, basketball took over. It became my world, my focus, my obsession. But even in the middle of all that, I never stopped writing. I never stopped rapping. I wrote raps at Washington High. I wrote raps at the University of Iowa. I even wrote overseas late nights after practice. When the world got quiet, no matter where I went, the music followed me. I remember being a kid at Harford Avenue Elementary, standing on the stage at a talent show. I remember Miguel froze up on the stage when I had gave him the mic and he didn't say nothing. So I had to take his mic and I had to rap his part. We ended up winning third place that day. And even though it wasn't first, it meant something. It reminded me that I had a voice. But finding that voice, that was a battle. I had so many doubts. People saw me as a basketball player, not a rapper. They say, why you rapping? You should stick to basketball. And that got to me. I started believing that maybe they were right. Maybe I wasn't supposed to do this. I wasn't using cuss words. I wasn't trying to sound hard. And that just made me feel like I didn't fit in. Like my sound didn't belong anywhere. But deep down, I knew I had something to say, something real. And one night in the studio out in Iowa, surrounded by my people, J Truth, Adam, DJ Omatic, the pallbearer, we were just vibing, recording, creating. Someone came through that night, just passing by. They heard my voice on the mic and they told me, keep rapping. You got something. I never forget that. That moment changed everything for me. Man, it was small, but it lit a fire I didn't know I still had. After that, I started caring less about what people thought and I started caring more about how I felt. Movies like Hustle and Flow reminded me that everybody's got a story. Eminem's 8 Mile showed me that pain, struggle, and passion can live in the same verse. And I started to see writing the way I see art. Each word, each line, a brush stroke. I used to read the dictionary just to find new words, new meanings, because for me, rap wasn't just music, it was language, it was expression, it was freedom. Now, I don't care if I sound different. I don't care if I fit that mold. I'm not trying to be like anyone else. I'm just being me. And that's when I realized this whole time I wasn't fighting to find my sound. I was fighting to accept it. The doubt, the struggle, the late nights, they shaped me. This is the grind. This is the crucible of creation. Chapter 3. The stories behind the sound. Every song I write comes from a real place, from real moments, from the things I lived through and the things I survived. When I was younger, my father struggled with alcoholism. He could be harsh, verbally abusive, and even though it didn't always talk about it, those experiences, they found their way into my lyrics. They became the heartbeat of my writing. The pain I turned into poetry. Then came other moments that tested me. When I got released from the WNBA, that hit deep. It wasn't just about basketball, it was about identity, purpose, failure. At that time, I felt like if I wasn't playing basketball, I meant nothing to nobody. And that's why you can't have your ego attached to things like basketball. And you got to know that you're valuable without a sport. But that pain, though, it never really leaves. You hear it echo through my verses. You'll feel it in the songs where I mention the WNBA. Because some failures, they shape who you are more than success ever could. Losing people I love, that changed me too. My grandmothers, my grandfather, my teammates, Maisha Bledsoe and Patrice Jennings, and there's many more. May they all rest in peace, but they're still a part of my music, still part of my story. When I rap about loss, that's where it comes from. Those memories live in every bar, every line, every pause between the words. And there's the part of my story I never really spoke about. Becoming a mother, going through postpartum depression. Didn't tell anyone. I was afraid to. Afraid to sound weak. Afraid to admit that I was struggling. As probably most mothers do. But that pain, it's there in my music. It's what You Can't Break Me it's really about. That song, it came from the darkest place I've ever been in, postpartum depression. It's not just a woman's struggle. It can affect men too. That's something people don't talk enough about. But when listeners tell me that song helped them, that's when I know my pain had a purpose. Every verse, every melody, every rhyme, it comes from my real life. The love, the loss, the failures, the faith, the basketball, the video games, the motherhood, it all blends together to make my sound. Even relationships. Some of my best songs are the ones that almost never got released. The late night demos, the voice memos that sat in my phone for years. Those songs taught me who I am. They showed me that even when no one else hears it, I still have something worth saying. That's the beauty of it all. My music isn't about perfection. It's about truth. It's about turning pain into something people can feel. And if my story helps someone else find their strength, then every verse, every tear, every sleepless night in the studio was worth it. Behind every song I've ever written, there's a story. And behind every story, there's me. Jump Watson YT.